The word Ayus means, in Sanskrit, it's coming from a root inagadav, means that which goes, that which disappears. So, the first and foremost thing that Ayurveda informs us is that we are dealing with life which is limited. Lifespan is limited. The word inagadav has other meanings also. Gati means to move, means life is not static, it is constantly moving. It is moving towards its own death, and that is the paradox of life. And this movement is extremely dynamic. So the life is continuously adapting itself to survive because it is moving towards that inevitable death. And so the entire focus of the life process is self-preservation. And that is the third meaning of the word Ayus. Self-preservation means that life is constantly adapting to survive. And this survival happens at three levels. At the cellular level, every cell, every moment, the biological units of life called as cell, which was called in Ayurveda as Jiva Paramanu. At the cellular level, we see this instinct for survival. And then at the organism level, there is biological reproduction. And then, at a spiritual level, there is transmigration or movement from one life to the other. So this is what the word Ayus denotes. So it is actually not fair to translate Ayus as life, because the word life doesn't give you these insights. When you look at the Sanskrit word Ayus, you understand that Ayurveda is trying to give you insight about the life process. And that very word Ayus describes the life process. This is the beauty of Sanskrit, that you don't need definitions. Words are themselves definitions. So the word Ayus evokes in our mind the idea that life is limited. So Ayurveda does not give you a false promise of everlasting life. It's very practical and down to earth. And so when we say Ayurveda, it already means, it comes with a warning that your life is limited. Come on, make use of it. Make it as productive as possible. This is the message. Now, this is the beauty also of Sanskrit. Like, if you learn the word Ayurveda and get an insight into what it means, whenever you hear the word Ayus, you are reminded of your limited lifespan. Now, this doesn't happen when you learn Ayurveda as life science. This kind of transformational power that Sanskrit words have, this is what I wanted to point out before we get into the heart of our discussion. And also that the secret of delaying death, you can only delay death. And how long you delay the inevitable, how long you live, depends on how well you adapt. So that's the next meaning of Ayus. So death is inevitable, but if you adapt, you can prolong life. And in the process, that prolongation is by self-reconstruction. Because you are dying moment by moment and reconstructing yourself. This is the process of life. Every day, every moment, every year, we are born again and again. And that rebirth is the gati, the third meaning of the word Ayus. And this happens at the cellular level. Whenever we eat food, we are being born again with the elements of nature. So that is why eating food was considered as a big yajna in our tradition. In Ayurveda especially, it is a yajna which we perform every day to regenerate ourselves. The second thing is the organismic rebirth. And the third thing is that life continues from one birth to the other. So this is what Ayus is. And Ayurveda is the knowledge which gives us a deep insight into the life process. So quality of life, productivity of life, living life to its fullness, that is the focus of Ayurveda. And not just treating and healing a few diseases. Now if you look at the word Veda, we translate Veda as knowledge. I already hinted that science is not a good translation for Veda. And I will try to explain why. Because the word Veda actually comes from the Sanskrit root vid. Vid means jnane, to know. But we are not aware that this vid has at least four, dimensions to it. One is satta. Sattayam vidyade, that which exists. So Veda is dealing with what is existent. It's dealing with what is real, what can be brought into the domain of our experience. It's not imaginary. That's what the word Veda means. Sattayam. If Veda says something, it means it really exists. It's something which you can bring into the purview of your experience. And not only that, Sattayam vidyade, veti jnane, means you can conceptualize that. So Veda deals with the universal experiences that we have, which can be conceptualized by the human mind. Means you can have a concept about what you are experiencing, and you can analyze it. And this conceptualization is what we call, you observe what is existent, and then you have data, you transform it into information, knowledge. So that process is what is indicated by these two meanings of the word Veda. And the third thing is that Veda also means to analyze. Vinte vicharane. These concepts can be analyzed. It's not something to be believed in. It's something to be observed and experienced. And when you analyze this concept, you get the prapti. Vindade vindadi praptau means you obtain and you actualize that experience of what you are talking about. So from observation to experience through conceptualization and analysis. Now this is the knowledge cycle. And so Veda is representing a process, it's not a word.